time it says, hello, everyone. I love when it says you are live. Welcome back to another Wednesday night with the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation community. My name is Melissa. We have Mindy and Marigold joining us tonight. We are going to take a little road trip together in our comfy houses. Marigold, you have your blanket tonight. I forgot to grab my blanket because I normally also always have one on my lap with me. You want to show it to us, by the way? It's such a pretty blanket.
I know. Big surprise. It's Jane Austen.
It's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Mindy's enjoying her warm weather in Florida, as she likes to tease us with. And she's put together some gorgeous slides for us again that we can take our little road trip together. Let's start out the evening. Normally I ask you guys to tell us what you've been reading. Let us talk about what we want to read for March next month. We each picked 3 books that we would like to get through, our little pile of possibilities. I love when people call that for their book stacks. And we have not discussed these beforehand, so we have no clue what anybody else is sharing. And I think it's going to be fun because I love being nosy and seeing what other people are reading. If you're joining us, say hello down in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from and what books that you hope to get to in March as well. So who should we start with? Mindy, do you want to start? You're at least on the screen up here on top.
I've got it. Yes. So I'm definitely feeling ambitious this March. I've got a lot of books on my e-reading list and my audiobook list. But as far as hardcover and paperback, here I have got The Underground Library by Jennifer Ryan. I know nothing about it except that it involves libraries, so I'm in.
I've seen that one around a lot. I don't know much about it either, but I have seen it.
Okay.
Yes, it's on my list.
Okay, it's on your list? Okay, cool. Then I will have to let you know once I get to it. Book number 2 is my girl, Agatha Christie, Elephants Can Remember. I actually keep a list in my phone of the Agatha Christie books I've read because I've been through all the short stories and all the plays. So I'm just down to like 8 books or something. And this happens to be one of them. So I'm really excited for this. This may happen sooner than later because I need to get that done. And then my 3rd book for this month, as you all know, I support indie authors. And so this is an adorable looking book from an indie author who lives here in Orlando, Florida with me. Her name is Kate Mosman. A Good Demon is Hard to Find. And it has like a paranormal spin, which isn't normally my genre, but I just thought this cover was so cute and I had to buy it. So I'll let you know about this one too.
Love it. I love paranormal is like one of those genres that like sometimes it just like that sounds too good to pass up. I really need to read that and find out what it's about. And then you're like, I kind of dig it, but you don't read it all the time. It's like a steady thing. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that one.
Yes.
And the number is number 2. Marigold, what do you got coming up for March?
Well, as you know, I'm also in a different book club from my library, and this coming up is The Trial by Kafka.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you're getting deep, girl.
Yeah, there's a wide variety of very great authors. So I have never actually read anything from Kafka, so I'm actually really excited about it. So
okay.
We'll see. That one, it's small, but I've heard that it's very intense. So we'll see. And this one I just started, also with a library theme, the Library of the Dead.
Oh wow, that's a cool cover.
Yeah. I think this one actually also is that paranormal from what I've heard about it. So we'll see. And then the last one is The Book Eaters.
Oh wow.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Is it
very interesting? I know nothing about both of them.
I was gonna say, is it YA? I'm trying to figure out from the cover, like what.
Oh, I don't know. It says international bestseller. I don't see.
Schwab. That's the author of. I have the. Where is it at? Somewhere on my shelf. Age of Adeline. I think that's the author from.
Okay, that's who did the quote. The author is actually
right.
Yeah, so it should be very interesting. I know nothing about them. So I like going into books not knowing sometimes.
You are crazy. Like, I cannot handle not like I need to like read the blurb, process it, see if it's gonna be right for me before I go into it. It could not just sometimes on my Kindle, I'll start a book and it's been on there for a while and I don't remember and I'm like, I'll start the first paragraph. I'm like, I can't go into this blind. Like I need to kind of have a scope of what's about to happen here. And I just have to say, I applaud you for your book club at the library of going into some of these deep books. Like I've been reading a little bit the last few weeks about society changing and people being able to really read for like not losing focus, deeper reading materials, and then the lighter reads, the more escapism reads. And I think there's a space for all different types of reading. I don't think we need to judge what's like the right reading or the wrong type of reading or any of that, but it really is, especially with our scrolling addiction that so many people have, difficult to get into some of those heavier reads and absorb them and stay with them. So hats off to you for your library book club.
I love our library has like a morning book club where it's like all the popular books, and then there's this evening one which is great. I wish I could do both, but this one is about great books, so it's like really like the classics.
Love it. I enjoy hearing the wrap-ups from you about them as well. So my 3, I have The Man Who Loved Books Too Much because Marigold had it and then you read it and I was like, okay, I need to read it so I can talk to you about this one. So
absolutely, it was great.
I'm really excited to read this. And then I know you guys are going to be excited about the next one as well that I grabbed. I have The Midnight Library.
Oh, yay!
Because we talked about this. And as I said last week, I think it was that I really love being a part of a community of readers because it motivates me to pick up some books that I maybe had sitting there for a little while and then other people are excited about them. So then it renews my excitement about the book. So those 2 for sure. And then do you ever have a book that you are like staring at it on the shelf at the store and you're like, oh, I should be good and I shouldn't buy that. And then you keep going back to it and back to it. So just as much as I love Emily Henry, I love Allie Hazelwood's books. I have read all of her previous ones and she released Deep End, which is a bit more of a YA. It's a college age romance. And I was like, no, I don't need it. And it's got the really cool, they're both swimmers. So it's got this water kind of design. And I kept looking at it and I was like, no, I don't need it. No, I don't need it. And after like 3 weeks, I was like, I'm just going to go get the book and read it. So, I'm like a library hold. I did put in a library hold to be good. And I was number 687 on the wait list. So I was like, they have like 200 and some copies in our library system typically for the popular ones. So it wasn't going to be that long of a wait, but I was like, gonna cave. I like to keep her books anyway. So those are my 3. I'm really excited about each one of those.
Well, it's funny. I did a search for what books are like funny story because I enjoyed that one. So I wanted to see what else was like it. And that book came up. It was the number 1 suggestion. So I'm like, ooh. So I definitely want to know how you like it.
I will have to let you know how it compares because I have heard mixed reviews on this one. Some people either seem to love it or hate it. It's a little bit darker of a romance, which a lot of people weren't necessarily expecting from her. She has her contemporary romances, and then she did do Bride, which was a paranormal vampire-ish YA, which was completely different. And then this one is kind of, I guess, maybe the middle ground between the 2 of those. So hopefully we can maybe do a wrap up at the end of the month and see which ones we did read, which ones we loved, and our thoughts on those 3 books. All right, we know what we're planning on reading. Let's take a road trip, shall we?
Yes.
I am going to let Mindy kind of take charge of our road trip. You're in the driver's seat, Mindy. I'll be the passenger clicking along as we go.
Or maybe I should snap the reins, right?
I'll be in the back. Are we there yet?
Snacks. You're in charge of snacks. That's all every good road trip needs. Hopefully it won't be as bumpy as a curricle. We'll have smooth sailing on this ride. Have a good time.
Well, we were talking about spring break coming up before the kids in school. And so I thought that it would be so much fun if we took a road trip across England and we saw some of our favorite houses and estates. And I guess I want to say I fell down this rabbit hole hard. Because it was so enjoyable just to not only look up, but then to deep dive into these places. Because some of them you can go visit. They are open to the public. Some of them are closed. You can't get in whatsoever. And so it's a really interesting situation. And I think we'll have some fun today because I also wove in some clips from movies where you see the houses.
I love it. All right, you just tell me when I need to turn the page.
Yeah, go ahead and advance. The first one is Loosely Hall, and it is it's Dunwell Abbey from Emma. Goodness, in 2009. This is my favorite Emma adaptation, and so when I saw this house, I would love to visit this. I don't know how the two of you feel about it.
It's really pretty. It reminds me of a Country Living magazine cover. That's like exactly different. Like from my mom's magazines in like the 90s.
Yes. The next slide is this one's a very brief clip of Emma and Mr. Knightley. Yep, when I tell you it's brief. Yep, that was it. Sorry, it was so sudden, but you do get that gorgeous view of Loosely Park. And if you are interested in going there, this house is only open May through July.
Oh, wow.
And it's like 10:30 to 4. So if you're somebody who thinks, oh, this is great fun, I could go, hop around England and see these places. If you want to be there, you really have to plan that in advance.
Did you find that was the case for a lot of them, that they have like short restricted hours?
Well, I would say it's about 50-50, the ones on the list, because a lot of them are operated by the National Trust. And so the ones that are operated by National Trust, they are open year round.
Gotcha.
This is Wilton House, though, and this is definitely the most famous one on our list today. As you can see, I know it's a little bit difficult, but at the bottom there, it's from 1995, Sense and Sensibility, 2005's Pride and Prejudice, and then 2020's version of Emma. So I honestly don't even remember which film clip I pulled because there were so many to choose from there. So
that's really fascinating. Like you wouldn't watch those movies and think like, oh, they already reused that in another one. Like the way they film it and the angles like Marigold, would you have guessed?
No, I was just gonna say I did not even realize it was used for 3 different movies.
And then it leaves me wondering, like, what scenes did I see it? Now I need to go rewatch all of them again.
Exactly.
Well, off the top of my head, I feel like in Sense and Sensibility, this was the original where the Dashwoods lived. And then Pride and Prejudice, I kind of feel like it was Rosings. It could have been Netherfield, though. And then in Emma, it's Donwell Abbey.
Gotcha. Okay, let's go to our clip. I will do my best.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do you not feel transported? I can hardly believe that you remain in England. And I was to accompany him, but the night before his going, I was struck down and fears he didn't go.
Just tell me when I need to cut it, Mindy.
Please excuse me.
Of course. There is an excellent prospect from the south window, Miss Smith. May I escort you?
Jane Austen's a great deal more than I. She has been to Ireland Will you be so kind when I am missed to say that I am gone home?
If you wish it.
You can stop it there if you'd like. I do have them cut, so it would have stopped here really soon. But as you can see, inside Wilton House is what we're getting here. Just interior shots where, you know, you're getting the portraits, and what I loved about that scene was all the gold, right? Like everything stained in gilt. I don't know. How did the two of you feel about that? Like,
it feels like a museum. Like, I can't imagine anyone living there. It's crazy to look at.
I think it was very interesting that they used to go visit the houses, or the not houses, not their houses, but these estates, and as like a trip, like we would go to a museum. So it is kind of interesting to see that they did that same thing.
That is a great point.
If
Even
you-
right in the books, you know, with Elizabeth going to, obviously, Darcy ending up there. It's like, how can you imagine Jay, like, just walking through somebody's house because they have this big old house? Like, let me go tour. But obviously there was, like, clearly a thing because the housekeeper is, like, expecting them to come through and tour. They must have taken a lot of pride in their houses to show them off like that.
Absolutely.
if you wanted to go visit Wilton House, it's another one that has a sort of restricted schedule. They are only open from April through September, and it's Monday through Wednesdays for about 4 hours each day, and then Thursdays and Sundays for 5 hours. So I feel like that's another one where, in particular, because not only are the grounds beautiful, but you have that gorgeous interior, I think that you could probably, if you wanted to go tour, you would need that 4 hours, you know, like need that time the whole time. Yes. Yes. Here we have number 3, Durham Park, and this is Sanditon House. It's Lady Denham's residence in Sanditon, all, you know, through all of the seasons. I think what strikes me with this one is just how gorgeous the countryside and the grounds are. It's such a fantastic picture, you know.
It is really pretty. I could picnic right there. Like wherever the photographer's at, just set me down a picnic and I'd be happy. And Marigold brought the snack, so it'll be all set. You got the food basket back, right?
The next clip is, because I couldn't find a great representation of Durham Park. This was just a fun little Sanditon sisterhood. They came up with Lady Denham's top 10 moments. So I thought we could watch maybe the first 2, but if you're looking for that on-screen depiction of Durham Park, it's right there.
Not bad news, I hope, Aunt.
Right there.
The Earl of Sussex is engaged. How dreadfully inconsiderate of him. I had no idea you were minded to marry again, Aunt. I'm not thinking of myself, you ninny. I already have a title and wealth. What possible reason would there be for me to marry again? Edward? There's your quarry. Hunt her down. Am I not permitted to speak my own mind?
Okay, we can stop there. I know, Melissa, we keep trying to talk you into watching it again.
I will watch it again.
Hopefully this prompts you, because it's so good.
Yes. It really has Lady Catherine kind of vibes, but like in a different, her own way, but like similar-ish.
So actually Durham Park is the first one on our list here that is run by the National Trust. So it is open year round from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., which I think would be, I mean, girls, if we're doing the road trip,
We're staying all
let's
day.
go. Yes, let's go spend all day there and do the picnic and really just enjoy.
I am all for it.
Number 4 is Luckington Court, and I feel like of the estates, even if I didn't say it, I feel like this is one that people would recognize on site. Do you?
Yes.
I mean,
I
do you
agree,
recognize this one just looking at that exterior shot?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is, it is Longbourn from the 1995 Pride and Prejudice. And this is one that has zero public access.
Wow.
They do give private tours, but from what my research turned up is it's just private group tours. So you have to have, through their connections, people to bring you in.
We're 3. That's a group.
We will make a group. All right.
Now that this first meeting is over, I feel perfectly at ease. Good. Now I know my own strength.
I know that's so short too, but I was trying to keep it short because I know we ran a little bit long. Last one.
I don't want to anger the internet.
Yes. So there's Luckington Court. Number 5 is Edgecote House. I know it's not a great picture, and really it doesn't look a whole lot like the movie because I don't know if it's at this angle or maybe they did some kind of refurbishment, but I feel like the coloring's a little bit different than when we see Netherfield Park from Pride and Prejudice in the 1995 version. But that is what we have here.
It's really fascinating to see how different it is because you get these close-up angles a lot of times in the movie, so you're not really like taking it in as a whole. So seeing how Anne with like a car in front of him and stuff, the juxtaposition is really funny.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, well, how is there a car there? There's no car.
All right.
And the next clip is a little bit longer, but it's a favorite. So.
Miss Bennet.
Mr. Darcy. I am come to inquire after my sister.
On foot.
As you see. Would you be so kind as to take me to her?
I love it because we get this great scene between the two of them, but look at that view. We're getting the house.
It's really neat to see it from that angle. Like now I can see the staircase and he's covering the car clearly. Yeah, it's really neat to see. From that side.
Should you want to go to Edgecote House, the tours, again, are through a very specific company. It's Dimaquillo, and that's a Spanish pronunciation as opposed to an English, so it's probably pronounced differently. But it's Dimaquillo Travel, and it's not open to the public at all. So you definitely, if you want to pop inside Netherfield Park, you need to make arrangements ahead of time.
It's okay. We'll plan our trip well when we go.
Let's see. So stop number 6 is Sudbury Hall. And I included this one because I feel like in the 1995 Pride and Prejudice, there are so many famous moments, I guess, where we do have the interior shots. So there's a little bit here with them in the hall, and then Elizabeth, of course, touring Pemberley, which is fun.
That's where Mrs. Darcy used to write her letters every morning. It was her favorite room. This is the music room.
Creaking of the floors.
What a lovely room this is.
Delightful. And there's a fine prospect from that window down towards the lake.
Look at this, my dear. Oh, it's quite
So pretty.
So beautiful.
Go to the lake.
I don't know, you know, how much the two of you do house tours, but I've done quite a few of them. When I went to England and Scotland, my husband and I toured quite a few of the houses. And, you know, nowadays, because the families are still actively living in them, you know, so I look at this scene where the Gardners and Elizabeth are just going all over the house, sort of roaming everywhere, even so far that they get to see where Mrs. Darcy wrote her letters. And then over here, we've got the piano the master just sent. Nowadays, you don't get to see all of the rooms. It might be 8 or 10 or something like that. I still love it. I mean, I still enjoy it.
Even just getting to see the scale of some of the rooms, I feel like really gives you an aspect of what the inside like might look like behind all the other closed doors.
Absolutely.
Sudbury Hall is operated by the National Trust, but it is only open March through December. So I think based on its location in the country, it might be too difficult in the heart of winter, you know? And then there are big chunks of time when it is unavailable. I'm guessing they hold events maybe then where they would, you know, bring in special parties or weddings. I know a couple of these places really specialize in weddings and celebrations.
Oh my goodness. Could you imagine? That would be amazing.
Hey, I'm the only one not married. There's a chance.
Yes. Marigold. We will come.
Yes. I think this is one of my favorite photographs that I found. I really feel like Belton House just doesn't that pop?
Yeah.
It might be because of that blue sky, which you don't necessarily associate with England. But I think it's so beautiful here. And this is Rosings Park in 1995 Pride and Prejudice.
It would almost make me want to tolerate living there. It's so pretty. I do like how on the little side building, you can even see the ivy on it is really pretty.
Yeah.
Like the larger part of the house is so stark and like very angular. And then that just is like softened up on the side there.
Absolutely.
Really, really pretty. I will get our clip.
I have been endeavouring to reckon up the number of times Lady Catherine de Bourgh has invited us since your arrival here. But I believe it may be as many as 10 invitations.
11, counting this one.
11? You have indeed been favoured with peculiar condescension. Do you not agree, Miss Elizabeth?
Oh, yes.
Indeed, how could anybody think otherwise? And this is to be your last invitation. On this visit, at least.
Yes, it is truly a very cruel deprivation. Indeed, I hardly know how I shall bear the loss of Lady Catherine.
I think the best thing about that clip, outside of Wonderful Elizabeth, is we get to see the grounds here. That it doesn't seem to be the same in the photograph, but we get these highly manicured shrubs. But you know, when you tour these estates, I always love doing the gardens and the grounds, and so I really like this part in the movie. Are the two of you interested in that?
Oh yeah.
What you about the tops?
Yeah, they're so straight. Oh my goodness.
I know. So things they don't have like hedges like we do now that you can just zoop.
Right.
The whole side and how perfect that it must have taken how long.
I do love the grounds, visiting those too, and the flowers and seeing like what's native to different areas is really fascinating.
Absolutely.
I'm with you, Mindy.
Definitely.
So Belton House is also operated through the National Trust. It is open year-round, which is nice. Here we have Lime Park, which is perhaps the most famous, and I'm sure you can all guess again before I even say it. This is Pemberley, with the just phenomenal. I would love to see this. And I don't know if either of you know this, but a few years ago, maybe 15 years ago, there was a gigantic statue of Mr. Darcy rising out of this lake here. That they left there for like a year or something. It was very comical. Like, it was not a pretty statue because it was so huge, but it was definitely Darcy in the wet shirt and coming out of the lake in front of this house. So
I do remember seeing that. This one is so stunning just with the water too. Like, it just expands the size and the visual interest of the house. I guess that's kind of underwhelming term, but so pretty.
It really is.
I confess I had no idea Pemberley was such a great estate. Should we reach the house itself before dark, do you think?
Be patient. Wait.
There. Stop, coach.
I think one would be willing to put up with a good deal to be mistress of Pemberley.
The mistress of Pemberley will have to put up with a good deal. From what I hear.
She's not likely to be anyone we know.
I think her reaction is so perfect that, like, catch your breath, because it's amazing.
It truly is.
Let's see. Lime Park, for anybody who's interested, is also operated by the National Trust. So it is open year round. The grounds do have a different set of hours, though. So if you're hoping to go take the tour of the park and see all of Pemberley with those grounds, it's important to look ahead of time on the website and get that kind of figured out, what the hours would be.
I feel like it must be such a huge place to go explore the grounds, and inside would take quite a while.
Next, we have Chatsworth House. And actually, speaking of a place that is just not only fantastic, but an estate that has used all of its surrounding area. Of the locations I looked up, Chatsworth is a place where you can spend the night. Not in the house proper, of course, but they have hotels, they have cottages on the grounds. So if you wanted to stay there and walk through the gardens and sort of do the leisurely tour, Chatsworth just, and of course we all recognize this from the novel, because this is a place that the Gardners and Elizabeth visited. But here, this is from, it was used as Pemberley in the 2005 version of Pride and Prejudice.
Look at that view.
Oh, gorgeous.
That kind of sums it all up.
I don't know how I would react if I was struck by that much beauty. I think I might do a gasp. Kind of, the two of the Gardners, when they stand up, they both. I know we're kind of speeding towards the end here. So we have Sheldon Manor, and this is from Persuasion, 1995. The exterior and I believe the interior were used for Uppercross Great House.
Ooh.
I feel like that one
it's so hard. Yeah.
A very different vibe right away of just dirty and dark and older than the other ones give, for sure.
Mm-hmm. The last one we have is also from Persuasion, but it's from the 2007 version of Persuasion. and it's Great Chatfield Manor and Gardens. And so I think you're right. When you compare the two versions, I don't want to say night and day, but definitely a different viewpoint.
Absolutely.
And before you go, Anne, on no account must you forget to visit each house in the parish to take our leave.
Yeah, there's the style of filming, I feel like in both of those took very different takes on how they were presenting persuasion vibes and the surroundings that they used.
Absolutely.
Something that's sort of interesting about this house is that even though it is run by the National Trust, this only provides guided tours. I believe what I wrote down is it's only in 45-minute increments. So when I mentioned before, like you might only get to see a couple of rooms, we're talking 45 minutes. You're like speeding through that house. So
fascinating.
Here, so how I lined this up would be if we were to hop in a car today and we were to drive from point number one to the last point on the map, it would take us a little over 10 hours. But of course, because there's 11 different places, we would probably stay at least 11 days. So we could fully explore each of the stops.
That was the best road trip in 30 minutes I've ever taken.
Absolutely.
And then the next slide, I'm not sure if they look really similar, but this one is the road trip that Elizabeth took with the Gardners in Pride and Prejudice. These are the actual stops that Jane Austen wrote into the book: Derbyshire, Lambton, Oxford, Blenheim, Warwick, Kenilworth, and Birmingham. So what I did here is I put it, it's in Google Maps, of course, but I put it on walking.
You're trying to kill us.
Because I was trying to think, if you were in a horse and carriage, right, how long it would take. And I don't know if you can see it because it's a little bit small, but it says it's a 66-hour.
Oh my goodness. Can we just take the bike option?
Oh yeah, you should have done the bike one. That would have been at least had wheels.
at least similar to horse time. Oh my goodness. We made it though.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so much fun. Thank you, Mindy, for putting that together for us. And I don't know, Marigold, what do you think I should rewatch first so we can discuss it? What are you going to be watching this next week or two?
Oh, I don't know, but you definitely need to see. Have you seen Sanditon, or you just hadn't seen it recently?
Yeah, I've only seen it once,
Oh.
and it's been a little while, and I kind of half watched while I was working, so it wasn't like I couldn't really tell you the plot points. I could definitely use a rewatch.
I feel the same though. That one I don't remember as much, because when we see little clips, I don't remember them in context. So I do think I have to go rewatch it again.
Okay, so Sanditon is the rewatch one of choice. I love it. Mindy, are you watching anything right now?
No, because I just finished all those Emmas. I'm 6 Emmas in 2 weeks. That was enough for me for a little bit. So I'm going to focus on my reading stack this weekend, hopefully. Oh, and I'm going to go to a live event. So
yes, that will be fun. We always love experiencing events that you go to through the group chat that you sent to Marigold and I afterwards. And I just want to remind anybody as we're wrapping up tonight to head on over to Patreon and check out our community at the Jane Austen Literacy Foundation on there. And we do have a coupon code. If you type in the E282D, you'll get 50% off your first month over there. If you join as a friend of the foundation, you can join the book club. You'll get a narrated letter from Jane Austen each month that you can enjoy, and you get access to all the previous events and narrated letters as well, so you can enjoy those at your leisure and be a part of an amazing community and hang out with everybody and chat. So there's those links for you there. Let me take these down. It does not want to go away. All right, that was a lot of fun. I feel like I need a nap after that long car ride. I hope everyone had a great time with us. We will be back next week, as always, on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. EST. Hopefully, if you catch this afterwards, feel free to drop comments as well and tell us what places you would like to visit on a road trip. That would be really fun to see. I feel like I'm going to need to rewatch this back just so I can like take time to process all the houses and see and compare them to screenshots in the movie. So everyone have a great night, or whatever time of day it is for you when you're watching, and we will see you again next week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.